I had something that really freaked me out yesterday. I'm making an appointment for something. This has never happened before.
Okay, Murph.
And I consider myself tech savvy. And this shouldn't have thrown me off.
You are the most tech savvy person we know.
Yeah, I was making an appointment for some air conditioning work that needed to be done. And so the business that I called, they finally answered. This very pleasant lady on the other side, And I said,
So you were laying it on the pleasant.
I said, hey, I'm Murphy, and how are you today? I always start off with a conversation,
especially with the ladies.
And she says, fine, thank you very much for asking. How can I help you today? And so I started to explain the problem, and she says, I'm happy to help you. My name is, I don't remember what she said, Victoria. She says, I'm Victoria. I'll be your digital assistant for this call. I'm like, okay. And then in the back of my head, I'm like, wait, digital assistant?
Did you
were talking to a robot?
Does that mean AI? And yes. It was that. The only way is I tricked it out at the end of the call, just to test. But
of course.
Yeah,
what does that mean?
Well, I threw in a curveball. I wanted to see if it was AI.
You can't just leave it alone.
But I was curious because it was a pretty flawless conversation because she was feeding my information back to me. She says, is this the correct? She says, great. Well, the service address that I have on file is this. Is that where we'll be doing this service? And I said, yes. And she said, and this sounds like it's going to be your mini split, not your other units. I'm like, that's correct. But in the back of my head, I'm going, okay, is this really AI or not? I honestly almost couldn't tell.
Yeah.
But I got to the end of the call, and finally, I paused for a long minute. She says, "Will you be needing anything else?" And I said, "No, I think that's all. You've been very helpful. I appreciate it." She says, "No problem. Thank you for using." She said the name of the service.
And
I paused for a minute and I said, "Well, I hope you have a great day." And then she says, "Enjoy the rest of your day. Take care." So it's like all the warmth went away after that. And it was
like,
clearly
I'm done.
AI.
She's giving you the AI cue that she's done with you.
And then a human from the business called me 10 minutes later to confirm the appointment.
Here's my question.
Isn't that wild?
Once you realized she was AI, did you slow down your typical Murphy game?
Lay off the charm.
Because you're always so warm with the ladies on the phone.
No, I didn't. I stayed in regular speak.
Regular lady speak.